This scene from season 3 of the CW's hit show The 100 unexpectedly set off a firestorm of anger and shock from its fans this year. The episode, called 13, premiered on March 3rd, right where this Google Trends chart for the show peaks. So what happened? Well, these two characters, Clark and Lexa, were in love. And after seasons of pining for each other,
finally get together, have a happy moment. Lexa walks out of the bedroom and gets shot with a stray bullet meant for Clark. A lot of fans were deeply, deeply hurt on a level that the writers did not anticipate.
So a character died, and that seems to happen all the time these days. What's the big deal? Well, the scene perpetuates a pretty toxic trope called bury your gays, where LGBTQ characters seem to never have happy endings.
The thing is that it didn't start with television.
To understand what's happening here, you have to go back to lesbian pulp novels that sprung up in the 1950s and 60s. The genre was notorious for building up a relationship between two women, and then at the very end, they would be punished in some way.
Mary Jane Meeker was one of the most famous lesbian pulp novelists, and her first novel, Springfire, followed that to a T.
She wrote under a few pseudonyms, including Vin Packer for Gold Medal. Meeker was told by her editor from the very beginning that the book should not have a happy ending or the post office might seize it as obscene. In the end, one woman goes crazy and the other renounces her lesbianism altogether.
This is why when Patricia Highsmith wrote The Price of Salt, which the movie Carol was based on, it was immediately a big deal. It seems like they're going to be apart forever. Really, the twist ending is that, no, they're going to be happy together. So if you look into the history of queer women characters dying off on television, it goes back to even the 70s.
Autostraddle actually has a pretty comprehensive list of queer female deaths on TV. One of the first deaths listed comes from the show Executive Suite from 1976, where the character Julie died.
Her love interest had just walked into traffic after realizing her lesbianism, and Julie was chasing her.
Autostraddle currently lists 152 queer deaths since that moment.
One of the main ones people always point to is Tara on Buffy, which actually the 100 death really eerily mirrored.
Your shirt. Tara?
The same week as Lexa, a character on The Magicians was introduced as a gay woman of color and then killed herself basically 2 scenes later. Also that week, there was Denise on The Walking Dead, got an arrow in the eye when in the comics that happened to a white guy. On The Vampire Diaries, a gay witch couple decided to kill themselves together rather than one of them just dying, so both of them died.
On Empire, Camilla killed her wife, Mimi, with poison and then was killed herself. All of these deaths on their own might not seem that crazy, but let's put this in perspective. During the 2015-2016 TV season, 22 lesbian characters that appeared in 3 episodes or more were killed off. That's 25% of all female deaths on TV and 10% of all deaths on TV. So why did Lex's death, out of all of these, ignite such a visceral reaction?
These fans being able to talk to the creators in a more direct way than they've ever been able to really accelerated a lot of this conversation.
The creator of The 100, Jason Rothenberg, later apologized to fans in an open letter, acknowledging that in trying to heighten the drama, he ended up perpetuating a disturbing trope.
I would never suggest that a TV show could never kill off a gay character or that anything's forbidden from writers, but I do think it's worth being conscious of this trope and knowing what they're doing when they're doing it and making sure that the death has some resonance. And really, that's what we should be doing anyways, making sure that a character death means something.